cage facts.
Okay.
You ready for it, D-Man?
I think so.
Okay.
I gotta trust my gut a little more.
And for those of you that don't know, this is basically I'm going to give Derek 3 statements. 2 of them are going to be true statements about the Cageman. 1 of them is going to be a falsehood. Derek's got to wade into these truths and these lies and figure out which of these is the one that needs to be cage-rected. The first, of course, is way back when, in the 80s, I think, or maybe early 90s.
Way back in the early 90s.
Almost 30 years ago now, man. We're old as shit. Nicolas Cage was playing a game of Monopoly.
Go on.
The person he was playing with, or one of the people that he was playing with, it was none other than a young Johnny Depp. And this was before Depp had ever considered becoming an actor, and over the course of the game, Nicolas Cage really built an attraction towards him, like an affinity for this guy, and was like, you should be an actor. Got him hooked up with his agent, and introduced him to the acting world. So Nicolas Cage is the reason that Johnny Depp is an actor. Next fact. Lisa Marie Presley, who famously Nicolas Cage married for just a short, I think it was like a 3-month span of time, had also previously had a marriage with the King of Pop, Michael Jackson.
MJ. Mm-hmm.
Subsequently, after Nicolas Cage's divorce with Lisa Marie Presley, he and Michael Jackson formed a friendship.
An alliance?
I don't know if it was an alliance, but they both had this person who was significant in their life for like relatively short spans of time. They met at some function.
They had like a Lisa Marie Presley jackets. Like I dated her jackets.
There was just like
a little pizza club.
This is a crazy thing that's in both of our, or not a crazy thing. I don't want to diminish the sanctity of marriage and this woman, but they were just like, it was a shared experience, and they befriended each other over it.
I hate that.
Next up. Nicolas Cage, in a 2011 interview, came out and said that the style of acting that he has invented, and sort of like his style of acting, he has called nouveau shamanic.
Oh. And
it means basically like new shaman, and is meant to sort of it's evoke the similarities between shamans and thespians, and he says that he should probably write a book about it, instructing people to adopt this style of nouveau shamanic
Shaman. They talked about it at their pizza parties.
That's where Michael Jackson got the idea for his song where he goes, Shaman.
I love that one. Shaman, track 2.
Yeah, so nouveau shamanic. Those again, Johnny Depp Monopoly, Michael Jackson Friendship, and nouveau shamanic acting style.
Nouveau shamanic. Okay.
What are you thinking, D-Man?
Well, last time... One time we played this, and I thought he's such a self-serious, self-important guy that he would have like a shrine dedicated to his props. And that feels very similar to the nouveau shamanic, I gotta write a book about this thing I invented.
Mm.
But that turned out to be a lie. And I would go with that as the lie. However, Johnny Depp played his first role in, like, when he was really, really young. I remember seeing him, and I remember him in, like, Nightmare on Elm Street. Speaking of nightmares. And I'm just thinking, if Nick Cage got him into acting and plugged him in with an agent, Johnny Depp must have been really young, like a little kid. And I don't know why Nick Cage is playing Monopoly with this little kid.
It's a game that adults and children play together.
Yeah. But it just seems a little, given my knowledge of the early works of Johnny Depp.
You just think that his acting career predates whatever.
I think it just wouldn't have lined up correctly.
That's fair.
So, because what does Nick Cage do in visiting Johnny Depp when he's a little kid anyway? So I'm going to say the Monopoly one's a lie, even though if it's the Nouveau Shaman one, I'm going to be upset. Either way, I hope the second one is true and that Michael and Nick had a little pizza club.
Okay, so you are incorrect.
God.
The second one of Michael Jackson and Nicolas Cage were not friends. That never happened. The other two are true. I'm not sure exactly what the timeline was or when that historic Monopoly game was played, but
I don't know. Were there witnesses to Monopoly?
Yeah, I mean that's a thing that's on. Wikipedia. It's in his IMDb.
Oh, it's on Wikipedia.
Trivia.
Say no more.
It's all over the internet. He's talked about it before. He just said that and I think that they do have. I think they're both on record talking about it. But it's a pretty crazy story, and I think it makes sense because Nick got his start. I think he was 17 in his first film. And that was in the early 80s. So it's totally believable that Depp was like a teen or something, and this was in the late 80s. Nick had like a bit of a film career going, and then he was like, hey, you've got what it takes, kid.
Johnny Depp's been everywhere. I see like every once in a while on my YouTube it'll be like, hey, Johnny Depp's hanging out with the Beatles, or like Johnny Depp hanging out with Johnny Cash.
Yeah, he seems like someone who's probably just kind of like a tourist through a lot of people's lives. Like he's just like has this really, really eclectic group of acquaintances. Because like who would say no to hanging out with Johnny Depp?
Who wouldn't want to dive into those depths?
Yeah, they see his fucking hat with like a scarf wrapped around it and 18 peregrine falcon
And he,
feathers
like,
sticking out and all his leather
Looks
strap
at you
bracelets.
like he knows every secret you've ever not told anyone.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? I don't know how you're gonna respond to this. I'm not a big Johnny Depp fan. I find him a little overrated as an actor.
Ooh, you're a fool.
I really like him as Jack Sparrow.
Of course. You
Um,
don't like Edward?
especially in in later days, like the latter half of his career, I don't think is worth commenting on. I'm not
Are
going to
you
start
kidding
a
me?
sequel podcast to.
His Grindelwald, I'm very excited for.
He was in that movie for a minute,
But
and spoilers for Grindelwald.
he's Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers for that the twist at the end of Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic beats.
Beats.
Johnny Depp's a talented actor. I would be so excited
He's
to
fine.
have him on a project in any type of
Oh,
way. You know,
great. Derek's
So,
just
if
laying
Johnny
the fucking
would,
groundwork.
wants to get a
Kissing
hold
some
of me?
big old Depp butt.
I
Right now.
am free 24/7 for you, Jonathan.
Alright, well that freaking does it for Cage Facts. You got it wrong again, Derek.
Damn it!
You
I'm
got-
really not doing well at this.
Honestly, it's a
Game.
hard one to write, and I'm genuinely worried about this game. Because there is a lot about Cage, but like every once in a while, I'm like, oh, just every once in a while, there have been a couple shows where I'm just like, oh man, I don't know if this fact that I'm coming up with is convincing. Like, is it within the pantheon of what a believable Cage fact would be? But he has like established such a scope of what his life is and what has happened in his life that I feel like I can kind of just do anything
Well, yeah, he's a shaman.
and trick you. All right, we're